Okay. Special recording at dusk video. Let's see if I can finish this one before the sun fully goes down. So we'll see. I don't know if I have that much to say today. So this one is going to be about what I'm gonna call like targeted language. Some games will use targeted language, or usually like what are called tags. I think Pathfinder does this a lot. Like a lot of conditions and properties and things are tagged in a certain way, but D&D doesn't do this. 5e just kind of uses descriptive language, and at most it'll say things like, when a creature is charmed in this way, like as in by this particular effect, it means like as long as they're charmed by this spell, this other effect also happens. Whereas in another game, like I think hypnotic spells like Hypnotic Pattern are like this, or like the spell Fear, for example, 3rd level spell. If you fail your save, you become frightened of the target creature, and then while you're frightened in this way, all you can do, as long as you're in sight of that creature that you're afraid of, or that you're frightened by, better language, the only action you can take is the dash action, and you have to move away from the source of your fear. If you manage to break line of sight, then you can repeat the saving throw, like at the end of your turn or something. Now, the frightened condition itself doesn't do that. The frightened condition itself just, as far as I remember, it only has two effects. One, you can't willingly move towards the source of your fear, and as long as the source of your fear is within line of sight, you have disadvantage on attack rolls, and I think ability checks. That's the only thing that always happens with the frightened condition. But the fear spell causes the frightened condition and this extra effect on top of it. Whereas in a game with tags, like say Pathfinder and other games, instead of it just being like you'd be frightened in this way, it would be when you are like feared, like the spell Fear is applied to you, and that would be just a tag applied to your character, and you could go look up that tag and see what it does. There are some disadvantages to that, because you could have thousands of tags that you have to sort through. Hunter's Mark is a tag, like things like that. So it can get a bit unwieldy, but there are a lot of strengths to that system. And at the end, I think targeted language in a lot of ways is good. For example, something that I don't do, but I'm going to start doing, is if I'm describing a situation where one player or something wants to move away from a hostile target, and if they did that, then they would trigger attacks of opportunity. Instead of explaining that, instead of saying, okay, well, if you move from him, he gets an attack of opportunity, you could just say, you're engaged with that hostile target. Now, that is shorthand, that's kind of a tag, but it does let you quickly describe that situation, like, you are engaged with this target, and this target. Or if that target has a 10-foot reach, then you can be engaged with him, or you can be engaged with that target, but they're not engaged with you because you're not threatening them, or however you want to word it. But just like a simple phrase like engaged means you would trigger attacks of opportunity if you leave, and it also plays into the disengage action, because that's how you get away from it. Likewise, something that I've been doing with the character Raskris I've been playing is in a lot of narrative situations, I'll do a small exhalation of his breath weapon, the frost breath, to like freeze the food he's eating or freeze the drink he's consuming, because I decided as a silver dragonborn he likes his food cold. So I have been saying like enough of his breath weapon to freeze this, or differing descriptions like every time. And I got some sheetrock dust and some spackle on my nose. Instead, I'm going to start saying a like minor frost breath or something along those lines. Minor exhalation of frost, something along those lines, to just kind of get that point across. It's not enough of his breath weapon to do anything dangerous. It's just enough for a small interaction. And like for any of his food and stuff that he's using in that way, we always like just do a roll for the hell of it. But it's never like a huge thing, because I've been thinking about how this character, now that he has access to his katanas, how he's going to do, like, what is his flourish is going to look like. Because every samurai, everyone using a katana, always does some sort of fancy flourish to knock blood off the blade and then the slow sheath. So how do I want Raskras's to look? And what he's going to do is a minor exhalation of frost to freeze the blood, any viscera on his blade, bang it quickly to knock everything off, and then sheath it. So that's nice. It's flavorful. It kind of gets the point across of what's going on, and it's personal to the character. So, and then you can also use that for like specific, just any kind of specific thing that your character does frequently. Like, it's almost like developing a catchphrase. Like for Senlir, I might start saying things like, I'm going to take an executioner strike instead of reckless attack, or just say that as a way to denote I am attacking at its head, or, something along those, like a wide-stanced overhead slice that designed to decapitate a prone target or something. Or how in Critical Role, Campaign 1, Vax the rogue, who had this belt that would like return daggers that he threw, instead of saying he makes his 3 attacks, he would always just say dagger, dagger, dagger. It's shorthand, and it's targeted language. It lets you know that he's taking his attacks, and it's slightly more flavorful than just saying I take my 3 attacks. So I think little touches like that can go a long way towards getting you in your character's mindset, and kind of communicating what your character is doing to the other players at the table, and also allow discussions and descriptions in combat to move along quicker if you're saying things like you're engaged with this target, or because there's already certain things that are have targeted language, like concentration. They're concentrating on a spell that denotes a specific amount of information. Lots of things like that. So yeah, that's a relatively quick topic. Sun's not quite down. There's a little bit of light left. Peace.